And I see Miss Kristina is already with us, and that's all I have to say for our intro. So I'm going to go ahead and bring her on. Hello.
Hello.
Oh my goodness, that outfit is gorgeous.
Well, thank you. I
You
try.
and I guess with what you do, it's kind of important to always be dressed a certain way.
Yes, you got to walk the walk, not just talk the talk. So absolutely, yeah. And it's interesting what you said, that personal branding is a big topic, and Anna's going to talk more about it because it is a big part of what I do too. So it's all about personal branding today.
It is. And really truly your subject helps with personal branding, right? Because you're telling us how to present ourselves physically, which does matter, especially in the interview process.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. We had a comment that said that job search is a common issue during COVID. Yes, you are spot on. And we are definitely going to be talking about that a lot today. And Mercedes says she likes your haircut.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Quick fix, I'll say that.
I envy you. Like I want to look good with short hair, but it's just not a thing.
Well, everyone keeps saying that. I think you just got to give it a try because hair will always grow back. So,
I have done it. And it's just been many, many, many years. So let's first hear your story. So you are in such an interesting field working with fashion. I say really fashion consulting. You you do a lot with fashion and you do your videos and everything, and then interior design. How did you break into that, first of all?
Well, my background is in marketing and advertising. So branding was that's how I ended up in the US. I was transferred from my company in Sweden. And then when I quit my job, because I worked in Manhattan in New York City, and I just kind of was a little burnt out before I had even turned 30. So, but I had to go back to school because otherwise, you got to get a visa. And interior design was a hobby. I've always been kind of loving all sorts of design and fashion. And I figured, that'd be fun. So I went back to college, studied interior design, and really have been doing it for the last, 16 years now. But throughout the years, my clients often told me, you could sort of see the disconnect sometimes when you got the house all done up. And then the client said, well, I wish you could just do me as well, so I fit my house now. And I grew up in a fashion family. My grandmother and then mother had women's boutiques. So I kind of grew up in that world. And I figured, what? I got to take this to heart. I got to look at the whole person, because there shouldn't be a disconnect between how you feel about yourself and how you feel about your environment. They need to be hand in hand in order. Otherwise, you're not going to feel at home in your house or at home in yourself. And I just, I figured I got to explore that. So I certified to be an image consultant. And
I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. That's so cool. So and I've talked to women who have gone through your courses, and that's actually part of what inspired me to invite you, is they all talk about what a change that made for them professionally. So what do you think is the connection between how a woman dresses and her confidence level and how she perceives herself, and then B, how that translates into business for her?
Well, there have been studies out there, and I don't, on the top of my head, don't remember exactly who did the study, but that shows that if we feel better about how we look, we perform better. They had college students. One group got to put on whatever, dressier clothing and makeup, and the other ones had to have sweatpants and no makeup. The group that, and that was the only difference between them, and the group that felt better about how they looked performed better. So I do absolutely think that confidence levels and how we perform and how we succeed, it really matters. That you got to start with yourself. You got to be happy in your own skin and how you feel about yourself.
Right, 100%. And I think a lot of people think that means that they have to dress a certain way, that they have to match some kind of stereotype. But you really teach the opposite, that you can have your own fashion sense come out. So let's talk about that a little bit. How do you teach women how to present themselves effectively, but still represent who they are?
I'm so glad you asked that, because that's kind of the core of everything I do. You gotta, again, we go back to personal branding, and the key in all branding is positioning. So you gotta know who you are. So you gotta answer the question, who am I? Who do I want to be? How do I want people to see me? And when you know that, then you can find your personal style. And I always say, fashion is fun, but fashion is not for everyone. You got to find your style, your fashion, and then you can play around with things that are, in fashion right now. So for instance, if you love pastels or yellow, which is going to come in spring, great. Then you can find that now, but don't look at fashion as a must. You got to look at yourself. Who am I and what is my style? What is my personal style? And then that's how you kind of build yourself and your closet.
I love that. And we just got a comment that I think is pretty much for you. So Miss Pamela here says, definitely need a boost to my confidence because it has affected me in so many areas, especially my career.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of women feel that way, especially even more so than men. Although I think men definitely have it too. I'm sure you've had male clients. But there is something different with us women that we want to feel comfortable and express ourselves. And it's hard sometimes to bring that out in fashion. I've had that. I've had that struggle where I'm like, how do I express myself and be comfortable? Because that's another thing is comfort, right? So there's so many fashionable outfits that are so horrible to have to wear, like big stiletto heels. I love them and they make us look beautiful, but oh my Lord, no, thank you. And
no, I agree.
So being careful. So so staying comfortable for work, because let's say you're like me and you are all over the place every day. How do you stay comfortable and still look professional at the same time? What are some of your top tips for that?
Well, comfort is key. And I think one way to find comfort is to find clothes that are actually made for your body type. Because if I'm trying to wear something that's made for another shape, then it's not going to be comfortable. But if you find something that's for your shape, it's going to hit me in all the right places and be loose when you need it to be loose. So learning your body shape and how to dress for your shape is number one.
100% agree with you. And as somebody who is broad-shouldered, big busted, and let me tell you, the weirdest part of me is that I somehow have big hips, big thighs, and the tiniest rear end in the history of life. And I'm so awkwardly shaped. But I think
you're kind of wrong. There's no awkwards. It's just learning. Like these are the best ways for me to dress. And then you can also hide the things you don't want to, you want to kind of bypass. That's your least favorite parts. And then you can highlight the ones you like. But it's all about creating that balance. And when things fit and are comfortable and sit, in all the right spots, you're going to feel way more comfortable.
100%. And I want to say real quick, so Tara has commented, who is one of my favorite human beings, by the way. She said, Kristina, you are fabulous. Love everything about your look, your rocking, and your entire background. Yes.
Well,
Tara, I love her too.
Thank you, Tara.
Tara is a lover of all human beings and just is one of those people that always wants to inspire and help people grow. So I just adore her. And then Paola has said, I love her. Kristina is just speaking and I'm here to take notes, and the whole picture of my screen is bringing it to life.
Oh, well, thank you. Wow, you guys make me feel great.
This is so important, right? Because I mean, I'm a fashion disaster half the time. I mean, if I'm just sitting around the house, I'm in like my sundress and like, no bra and just chilling out. And even if I'm working, that's just how I work because I'm comfortable. But once you go out into public, it's this whole other game. And I've actually been watching some of your videos.
Oh, great.
I haven't. And if anybody hears a cat, I'm sorry. My assistant is mowing today. Usually she's silent for the show, but she's not cooperating today. But it's true. It really helps. And hashtag leggings, Tara says, yes, hashtag leggings, girl.
Well, sometimes leggings are okay.
Yes, yes. So, well, not for every occasion. Yeah, please don't
Yeah.
for every occasion, but for certain things, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, and we have a comment. I'm an immigrant which you can relate to, where
Yeah.
I can go through language and attitude differences. How can I get confidence in a foreign country? Ooh, that is right up your alley.
That is super interesting and really, well, you always got to look at, of course, culture where you are, you know, when in Rome. So if you go to a country that, I mean, if I would travel to a Muslim country, of course, you got to sort of cover up more and
Right.
take the custom. But I think today, with the world is way more international with all the social medias and TV shows and everything is international. So
Yeah.
I think it's less culturally segmented today than it used to be.
Yes.
I think we're much more alike than we are separate. But of course, I can see differences between my home country of Sweden and the US. There are some small differences.
Small.
Well, I mean, culturally and how you dress, because I think in the US we are more individualists. In Sweden, more kind of herd animals. They all want to look alike, and they. Sorry, all Swedes, but that's just the way it is.
Well, I mean, truth is truth, right? I think, I think that one thing too is that I've known a lot of people who are immigrants to this country who were afraid to bring out the style from back home.
Mm-hmm.
But to your point, that I think here in the US, this is the perfect place to do that and maybe combine the two. I used to have a friend, or we're still friends, but I haven't seen him in a long time, who is from Nigeria and would combine the fashion. And it was a really cool look.
I love that. Love it. And it also goes back to your personal brand. It is a part of who you are. Yes. So don't neglect that. I definitely think embrace it and try to work with it and play with it, and don't shy away from your roots and who you are. Absolutely not.
100%. And I've told a lot of people things like that over the years, that no matter what, be authentic. And people always, what does that mean? Just be yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whatever that is, do that.
And that really helps. Knowing yourself and who you are really helps when you do anything. I mean, it has to do with interiors, of course, but when you go shopping, because we can get talked into things like, oh, that looks great on you, I think you should buy it. And then we come home and we're like, oh, that's like, not, oh, no. What did I do? And it's going to be something that's just hanging there and you're never going to use it. When you know who you are and the style that you want to show off or feel comfortable in, you're not going to make those mistakes anymore. When you go shopping, you can say, yeah, it looks nice, but it's not me. So it's knowing who you are and what you want people to think when they see you. That first impression you want to give. When you know that, everything else kind of makes it so much easier.
Absolutely. I completely and totally agree. Are you hearing reverb, by the way, or is that just me?
I'm hearing something. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I might have to grab my headset here. But the same lady has also asked, India and America has a big difference. Yes, they do. Mm-hmm. We do.
Yep.
But there's always a way to still represent. And actually, there's some wonderful Indian American models. I can't think of their names off the top of my head. I don't follow models that much, but I know that there are some who have done fashion mixtures, and that may be a really interesting thing for you to look into and to explore. The other thing is, don't be afraid to just dress how you would dress back home, as long as it meets, any which it would in India. I mean, any kind of job requirements or things like that. I wouldn't think there would be any kind of conflict there, but embrace it, or if you just want to go full on American style, whatever that is, there's so many different styles, knock yourself out. I mean, wouldn't you say, Kristina? Just kind of.
I do agree. And I think the good thing about living in a country like this, where we have a lot of different cultures, is that it is okay. It is okay to dress how you of course, appropriately. We should not walk around naked, but it's okay to dress.
There's health reasons for that too. Like we live at the beach. You just have sand everywhere. Places you do not want sand.
And again, yes, not comfortable. Yes.
Not good. Not good. And real quick, Sasha says, Sasha Zebrick, who's also been on the show, Sasha Speaks, when you know who you are is the best answer to building your brand. And thank you, Kristina. 100%. I agree. And Mercedes has asked, what about age prejudices? Like when employers rather select competent because of age differences. I think the last part of that got a little lost in translation, but age prejudice, first of all, is the number one bias in the job market today. A lot of people don't realize that. Ageism has been lowered to 45. That is not old. I don't know where people are getting this idea that 45 is old.
Wow.
But it's been lowered. And the best thing, actually, Kristina can speak to this too. So energy is the main thing, because when people say, I don't want someone in a certain age group, they're saying one of two things. Either I'm insecure about my job and I think you're going to take it. There's not too much you could do about somebody that's that insecure. Or they're saying, I need energy. So you need to be relaying energy. And let me tell you, and we're going to have some guests on later that will prove this, age does not mean that you don't have energy. No. So just portray that, just show that energy. What are some of your tips, Kristina, in terms, because I mean, you do all of your videos, you know how to be on. I've seen you at these networking events. How do you like to show energy even when you don't necessarily feel like it?
Well, I mean, it is a training. You got to sort of work at it too. If you have, or if you feel low energy one day, you got to sort of pep yourself up with, if it's music or do 10 jumping jacks or whatever it is. Just kind of, and I say, when in doubt, smile, because it naturally just releases endorphins and it makes you more alert. So put on that smile, if nothing else, if you don't feel like doing jumping jacks. But again, with ageism and dressing and confidence, it's the same thing there. I think that when we feel comfortable in our own skin and we know more about ourselves and who we are and what we stand for, we care less about how old we are.
100%.
So
100%. And I will tell you too, if you don't let it affect you, if you don't let your age affect you, it won't bother them either.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also how you dress will matter. So definitely check out some of Kristina's tips about that. Maybe we're going to talk about the contest in a minute. So when one of her free boot camps, or when one of her boot camps for free, and how you dress and present yourself can have a big aspect. So if you have Barbara Bush hair, for instance, that may not be the most effective way to show your energy level and your vitality. So take a look at that type of thing. Also, too much makeup, ladies. Funny enough, I've spoken to a lot of recruiters and I say, okay, what are you seeing from your clients that is causing age discrimination? I say one of the number one things is too much makeup. It makes a woman look old.
Yep. No, I agree. It's and it can be sometimes out of trying to cover up, because you think it's not going to show as well if you cover up more, but it has the reverse effect. And of course, Ingrid knows all.
Oh yes, we're going to talk to Ingrid about that later. Ingrid's going to give us all of our makeup tips later after her inspirational story. And Patricia Copewood says, "Embrace you be you 100%." And that's something else I've noticed about you, Kristina, that you're very good at, is just being yourself and putting it out there. This is what I've got going on.
Well, thank you. I mean, I'm really bad at being anyone else. So
gotta work with everybody though, right? All you can be is yourself, right?
Yeah. I say I can only do me, you can only do you, but we can try to do the best version. Because I do think that, and I totally agree that we should feel comfortable, be ourselves, be comfortable in who we are. But don't forget that how you show up matters, has a huge impact. So if you say, I don't care, I'm going to come in sweats, they just have to take me as I am. I mean, it's your prerogative to do that, but it
But what does it say about you?
yes,
Yeah,
people
what does that
will
say?
judge. So as long as we're aware of that, that first impressions last, and 85% of that first impression is based on how you look.
That's
So
very true.
you
That's
got
very, very true. So I want to wrap up with you by talking about your amazing boot camp that's coming up and how all of these lovely ladies can learn even more from you and get some good one-on-one education or group education. So tell us a little bit about that, please.
Okay, so I've done an in-person workshop for a couple of years now, where I teach a lot of the things we talked about today: how you dress for your body shape, your best colors, how you find your personal brand and your personal style. But of course, with COVID, we had to rethink. So I've taken it virtually. And I'm doing it in a boot camp form. So it's over 3 days. It's 1 hour a day. So it's not going to take up your whole weekend. But that way, I'm going to give a little assignments too. So you can go shopping in your own closet. Because a lot of the things we're looking for is already there. We just need to learn to look at it through different eyes. So, yes. So it's going to start March 12th. Friday, March 12th is the first day. We're going to meet at 2 p.m. each day. And yeah, it's going to be fun, and it's super affordable because I want to help as many women as I can.
Yes, there it is. There's the info.
Yeah, it starts at $39.
That's amazing. That is amazing value. And ladies, so definitely connect with Kristina on LinkedIn, on Facebook.
And
she's very easy.
The website for the launch site for the bootcamp is live today. So you can go on to bringyourstylebootcamp.com and find out.
There it is, bringyourstylebootcamp.com. And if you want to register to win the free access to this boot camp, then what I need you to do, please, is connect to both Kristina and I. To me on LinkedIn, Catherine McCord, I'm pretty much the only one on there somehow, and to Miss Kristina on either Facebook or LinkedIn. Let us know that you've connected to both. Let me know that. I will enter you in the drawing, and the drawing will be done later today.
Yay!
So for all of you that want more of Miss Kristina, please connect to her. And thank you so much for joining us today.
It was so much fun.
It was a true pleasure. Have a wonderful rest of the day. And everybody, again, please connect to Miss Kristina.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.